He's whiny.
Yeah, like he sounds like such a bitch.
So once again, Verse has forgotten to use his mic. You would think after literal
Well, it's funny because I did this last time and I was like, we have to implement a fucking mic check.
We need to do a mic check. I mean, literally mic check 1 2 1 2 is like the meme. Fuck.
But we don't. The mic check 1 2 1 2 doesn't need to be the mic check. What we need to do is go into our settings and control panel and just like force ourselves to look at it every fucking time. But anyway, so
it's not like we've done over a year of these episodes either.
It's insane how our audio and production quality has literally gotten worse over the last 2 months.
Hey, so it goes.
Yeah,
we're just having a little pullback. We're having a little pullback. Is all it is.
Are you seeing my screen here though?
I am seeing your screen here. It's done via, I think, your IP address.
That's really stupid.
Yeah, I think
everything that I've learned about fucking Bitcoin and the way that the network works, it's so basic. But whenever I suggested, they were building the site out for an ordinals mint, and I was like suggesting all of these things because literally there's like 25 ordinals developers in the whole fucking world at this point. So it's kind of like you have to reverse engineer the thing yourself type situation. And I was suggesting stuff from my like tiny pea-brained coding knowledge, and they kept being like, Lucas, there are no smart contracts. And it's like, it's dumb because obviously, yes, it's Bitcoin. There are no smart contracts. This is like the basic thing, right? Like Ethereum was revolutionary because it brought smart contracts. But like, holy shit, there's no fucking smart contracts on Bitcoin. It's impossible to do anything, man. What the fuck, bro?
Bro, this is why I just have stayed away from it until now. But
well, that's always how it goes, right? Like, I'm going to give away a little bit of alpha here. Actually, I'm not going to give that piece of alpha away. I'll give away a decent bit of alpha, but it's like everything is sniped, right? Every single thing is sniped. There's all these protocols and measures you can do to try and like anti-sniper technology. None of it works, okay? Snipers are going to snipe no matter what you have early on. And the best case scenario is that the people who wind up doing the sniping are people on the protocol's side who are going to diamond hands. That's basically the only thing that matters.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty true. Yeah.
Because, on Ethereum, you're going to get botted as fuck. On every L2, you're going to get even more botted. On Solana, you're going to get so hyper botted that it's going to blow your mind, right?
Yeah.
And the bots dump. When a bot gets a 4x, that bot's dumping on your bitch ass, man.
Dude,
they're getting the fuck out of there.
Whereas, like, fucking candle to hell itself. They don't give a shit on Solana.
You got some insane delusional 3,000 follower like BFF in your group chat. That guy will hold until a 1 billion X without even considering selling, right? The bot, no, absolutely not.
Bots are like shit. Some of the bots are just like they'll sell on like the 2x. They don't care.
Yeah, and frankly, you should be able to tell based on me saying this what the best sniper bot deterrence mechanisms are for launching a token. Actually, do you want to guess, Verse, what they might be?
The best sniper bot deterrence system would be to buy up the entire supply early.
That too. But no, the actual alpha is that you basically want to have your contract look as shitty and scammy as possible. Because the sniper bots are pointed at things that have like verified contracts, that have locked liquidity, all of this stuff. And a lot of them will just ignore it if it looks like a rug because they assume they're going to get rugged, right?
Smart. The other thing you could do, this is an idea that someone told me recently, for things especially on like Solana where you like very publicly announce the contract ahead of time, what you can do is tell Twitter and all the actual humans a date that's different than when you launch the original liquidity pool. Yeah. So for example, you tell everyone it's Thursday, you launch the liquidity pool on Monday, all the bots get made, they run it up, they G'd it to 0, and then you pull the liquidity and start again. When you start the new liquidity pool, the bots have already been in and out of it. They don't care anymore. Yep. They always go for the new one.
Right, because they're only looking for new contracts created. They don't give a shit about ones that are 4 days old but just had liquidity added.
Exactly.
There's a lot of different kind of creative ways to do this. In the end, it kind of gets washed out. Like in the end, none of this is going to make the difference between like you going to $1 billion or you going to zero.
Yes.
They might increase the amount of time that it takes you to go up if you were destined to go up, if you fuck it up.
But if you do correctly, you can save your ass. It could be like organic growth, right? Because people get scared of all the bot action in the beginning. Kind of depends on the chain, though.
It does depend on the chain. It's really funny thinking about, like, if you collected a demography of the users of every cryptocurrency chain, you could probably learn a lot, right?
Probably. I mean, it's more of, it's just a social. Would it not just be a socioeconomic graph? Because some are more expensive.
No, I don't think so. I think you could probably, like, take your big 5 personality traits and you could have entirely different graphs per chain. Like Ethereum users they're definitely a different fucking breed. It's not just money, man. It's not just money separating these people from Solana users. Like Ethereum users are basically the only, or Ethereum maxis, I should say, not users, are basically the only people I know that are genuinely, or they even have the possibility to be in it for the tech. Most people don't even have that option because they don't know what the fuck the tech is, right?
Yeah. That's a good point. There's definitely some kind of like, I don't even know what that would be, like intellectualism. But what is that in the big 5? That's that under openness? I don't know what that's under. There's definitely some kind of Ethereum intellectual trait there. Maybe it's
basically that they're autists. I don't know how the big 5 would break down on that because, frankly, I only know what maybe 3 out of the 5 letters even stand for.
Bitcoin has like probably the most conscientiousness, if I had to guess, of all the chains. The Bitcoin maxis are like super conscientious fucking. Some of them are OG tech bros. Some of them
the
are
Bitcoin
like
maxis have gotten a lot better. Bitcoin maxis, when Ethereum came out, they started seething and they had a cycle of being very gay, and they're back to being very cool. And now the Ethereum maxis are like the gayest ones, hands down. Like Ethereum, and like again, many of them great people, I'm sure. I'm actually a fucking Ethereum maxi now that we're saying this, but like the community is insane.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna build on Bitcoin, I mean, once ordinals and all that stuff started showing up, the Bitcoin maxis became interesting again because like now they can like program on it, right? When it was just straight up Bitcoin, it's like, okay, this is boring. This is the dinosaur, blah blah blah. Now there's a lot of cool shit on there that I still don't completely understand, but I do know that it'll make you a fat bag if you understand it. And I keep seeing these new things, like all these like rare sats and this new thing called. I'm gonna give you alpha for the users here. I learned about it earlier today. I almost bought it, but I did not because it's called. It is a proof of work shitter. They're on Bitcoin. They're called POW20s. They are proof of work shitcoins on Bitcoin, and one of them, the first one, I know I almost bought it today with some extra funds that I had, but I was like, what the fuck is this? Am I wasting money? Can't tell.
Answer is yes.
Probably wasting money, but some of these long shots, dude, sometimes you got to do it. Actually, I'm gonna buy.
You do. I've been just like tossing shit at a few long shots lately instead of, I guess we're gonna call it the barbell approach here or whatever the fuck. But just holding my majors and then like a couple of like either retard billionaire or zero plays. And most of these plays obviously are just zero.
Yeah, this is I have to create it. Oh no. Yeah, this is definitely a zero or make it play. So I'm going to connect it. I'm going to do it live. It is what is this shit called? ordinalswallet.com. Oh no, wait, that's the wrong thing. Yeah, it's called ordinalswallet, yeah, .com. POW20 at DOTI or whatever the fuck. And these are like the first proof of work shit coins. Yeah, I don't know what else. Anyway, I can't do it live because it actually requires a lot of mental thought because this shit is so weird. But yeah, I mean, there's the runes coming out. Speaking of Bitcoin shitters, runes are coming out. I don't know anything about runes. I heard something about wizards. I don't know what that even means. At the halving. So
oh my God, you don't know about Bitcoin wizards, bro?
I don't know about the wizards, but apparently that's like a big rune that everyone knows about for the halving.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck they are either.
So sometimes see, as we said before, with like shitcoining on Bitcoin, I just feel like a turbo moron if I get it wrong. Like if you get it right, you're like, wow, I'm a genius. Like puppets, like that's probably going to be the punks or apes of this chain. So, and also like now there's enough momentum on it that it's like fairly obvious that that's going to be the winner. So buying it now, even if it's at $20,000, you're like, all right, fine, whatever. It's probably not going to fail. It's too big to fail. They've made the fucking
Pups coin. I think is going to do very well.
Going to do great. Arthur was shilling it the other day. I
saw that, and I was not positioned when Arthur shilled it, and I was in it. I was in it. Suicide.
The only reason why I switched to getting the real puppet is because I've made enough from the Pups coin to buy the real puppet. I was like, wait, why am I doing the fucking corollary, the beta play when I could just get the real one? So I was like, shout out to Arthur, help me out with the bag. But yeah, the Pups coin.
That thing was crazy, dude. That thing had like $150 million price or market cap, and it had like, I want to say like 6 million liquidity, and that thing was full on 90% shitter swings. Like it was trading like a dirty fucking 40K M cap, like Solana street shitter, like a dirty bitch, man.
Because people are putting real fat money into it because it's 1-to-1 with the coin.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. Oh, also, what I did not realize until right now, until like earlier this week, when I read about the Pups coin, was that the Bitcoin puppets are getting airdrops. I didn't realize it was getting airdrops this whole time. So now I feel doubly fucking dumb.
The thing has paid for itself in airdrops a few times over. I missed most of them, but I still have enough that it paid off my initial.
Oh, interesting. See, that's another thing right there. So
it genuinely has gotten like, I think people who were in it from the beginning and they were like diligently claiming all the airdrops and whitelists and stuff. I think it's like 120K or something per puppet.
Oh shit. Well, that's good to know. So
now most missed that though, because most of these things were like, the way ordinals mints go is like these websites are so like everyone's gotten used to it working. Everyone's gotten used to like infrastructure that functions. Ordinals is like, without the ability to have a smart contract, so again, everyone is used to the fact that you go and you click a transaction thing and it like takes the money out of your wallet and then it replaces it with an NFT. Because there's no smart contract, you can't do that on Bitcoin. You literally have to like manually send some random receiver money, and then it will send you the NFTs as a separate thing, like as a separate transaction.
Yeah.
And that seems like it wouldn't be, but it's like you connect your wallet and then you have to tell it where to send the ordinals because your ordinal wallet address is different than your Bitcoin wallet address. And there's like Bitcoin itself is already a very confusing chain for people who have gotten used to like the ease of Ethereum, which again, this sounds insane because Ethereum, like when I think of Ethereum, the last thing that I think of the entire universe is this bitch is easy to use, right? My actual first thought is, who the fuck designed this? I need them. They're the Antichrist. Obviously, I would never do that.
No, but this is absolutely so much more complicated. And that's crazy because like I've been around for a while, right? So I've been around the block a bit, and this is still complicated.
Well, the thing is that like I remember transactions like this. Like this is how it was when you were buying stuff on like the dark net or whatever. Like it was the same weird. But like I had just forgotten how to do any of this because the ecosystem has gotten so much easier to use that I simply never had to do this. I feel now like I've been tossed back to 2012 using Bitcoin again. And it's like, yeah, they've made some changes to the chain. It's a little better and whatever, but it's still very like, what the fuck, bro? Like, I'm in the hood again, dude. I thought I made it out of this bitch. Like you don't even have an account anymore, right?
Nah,
like,
bro, we're gentrifying the hood right now. If you're going back 3 cycles in usability, that's a good sign for the bag.
Right, it's bullish because only a true retard would do something like this or use a chain like this.
Yeah, you have to be so ahead of the curve to be dealing with this that it seems like there'll be a good benefit here. So
theoretically, I will say though that like, so they have like nested SegWit, native SegWit, like the standard Bitcoin chain. You have like 18 different Bitcoin wallets. And something that's been really funny is watching people try to use like a ledger to try and hold their ordinals, because ledger implementation on Bitcoin wallets is like, it's okay if you're moving Bitcoin around, but for ordinals, it's so fucked, dude. Like there are people who are just getting straight up stranded because they have a hardware wallet and they send it to the hardware wallet, but the hardware wallet literally has no software option for dealing with ordinals. So it's like they have custody of their funds, I guess, but it's just stuck there.
It's stuck there.
They can't fucking send it. They can't buy. They can't move it around.
Oh, yeah. That's what another thing I was scared about. But now I imagine there will be a software update for it eventually, and they can parse it just like they can parse the rare sats from the normal sats now. So it'll probably be fine eventually, but I am not touching the ledger. This shit is not going anywhere near it.
Yeah, I mean, I put my puppets on my ledger and
really?
Whoops.
Oh, whoopsies. You got wrecked?
I didn't get wrecked, but it's like, I mean, and this is the thing. Like, it's not like it's unrecoverable, but it's like I'm going to have to take my ledger's seed phrase and I'm going to have to plug it into a hot wallet, which is like, it's defeating the entire point of a ledger. Like I have the hardware wallet specifically so that I never have to enter my key into a computer.
Yes, that's true.
So if I enter it into a computer to recover my funds, then it's like, what was the point of all this? Like, what was all this gay security mumbo jumbo about in the first place? You might as well have just used a hot wallet from the beginning, which is true. I might as well have just used a hot wallet from the beginning. And now whenever I fuck with ordinals, I use a hot wallet because there's no point to a ledger anymore. For Bitcoin, uniquely. For Bitcoin ordinals, uniquely. I'm sorry. And again, guys, like, all of this might change. It's very possible that there is a software now that can deal with ordinals, and I'm giving you like outdated info because last I checked was like 2 months ago or something like that. It's very possible.
I don't think that's I don't think. Well, I mean, there's been a wallet, sure, but there's not on Ledger.
I just don't want to put people in a position where they're like, I used a hot wallet because Lucas told me to, and it's like, I'm not telling you to use a hot wallet. No. That is out of context.
Yeah, I mean, I am using the X First, which is a hot wallet. So
I am also using the X First, which is a hot wallet. I mean, I tried to find one that would allow me to connect my Trezor, and there's just none. Like, you literally, if you have a Trezor, the only open source like Bitcoin wallet that I know of outside of like the only multi-chain open source Bitcoin wallet that I know of, you just cannot connect it. It was very weird. I downloaded every single Bitcoin wallet that was compatible with ordinals that I was aware of, and there was nothing.
Yeah, it's a tragedy. But hey, listen, ordinals. Oh, I learned about a new thing though today. Speaking of, that's sick. It's called Ghost Cash, I think. Ghost Cashy. Ghosty got not cash. So Ghost with a Y at the end .cash. It is a theoretically anonymous. I'm not really swapping mechanism from like any chain to Bitcoin. Now, the anonymity part doesn't really matter, but it is legal to use because you're only swapping with yourself because of the stupid way that Bitcoin does things. You have to send things to an address and it comes back over. The way that since
do you know how UTXOs work?
I don't know, but this seems to be related to that. Nice. So because of the way it's like designed, it is actually completely legal to like you don't have to worry about like tax fraud type shit or anything. Because you're swapping with yourself, so it can be anonymous and all that stuff. But it was very fast and very useful, and I'm only using that to bridge now because once I figured it out, I was like, oh, this shit is fucking gas.
What are the fees like? That's the main thing that I care about. The
fees were very cheap from what I can tell. I went from Solana to
That's what I just did. I went from Solana to Bitcoin. I want to say I put in like 10.4K Bitcoin or 10.4K Solana, and I came out with about 10.22-ish. And I used a centralized exchange. So
I don't know. I wish I had the transaction still up from earlier.
Bro, I keep forgetting that I can't just be slamming fucking like 5-figure market orders, even if they're very low 5-figure, into like low liquidity centralized exchanges. Like, I'm so used to when I use this stuff, just like, oh, like it's like $100, like it's not a big deal. And I'm forgetting that I'm no longer dealing with minuscule amounts of money. And again, like 10 grand isn't like a huge amount, but if you're on like a central exchange that doesn't have a ton of spot liquidity, you actually kind of slip yourself a little bit there.
Yes, no. Bitcoin is actually I was thinking about this earlier this week. Like, if the price points for Bitcoin that we think it might happen in the next couple of years or next year go to what we think they're going to go to, like you're going to have to just start doing over the counter for like 1 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I mean, there's already the meme about how they've run out of Bitcoins, right?
Yeah. I mean, they are very rapidly running out of them in a lot of exchanges. Like, but like, imagine like, okay, 500K Bitcoin. Like, what are you going to take that to Coinbase? To Kraken? Like, you have a 25K limit withdrawal. Like,
yeah, the average person is now starting to run into the same sort of problem that those like holy Bitcoin whales used to have.
Yeah. Like they're just gonna have to be over the
counter. For
those
of you unaware, actually, so the way Bitcoin works is there are all these guys who were mining Bitcoin in like 2010, right? They have what is effectively an unlimited capital, an unlimited personal wealth stash that they have in Bitcoin. However, because of what everyone was using Bitcoin for in like, I don't know, 2010, 2013, 14 period, they've been banned from every single KYC exchange in the US and then in Europe and then in Australia and then in the UK. Like all of the big ones where you can go to like a real country and you can pull out by verifying, they're now not able to use anymore. So they're in like Thailand and they pull out like 50K from like a Bitcoin ATM every month or something like that. And they just go buy a fuck ton of weed and like masturbate or whatever. They're just bored as fuck. They can't even onboard to exchanges now because the average exchange without KYC only lets you put in like 10K. And like 10K does not give them enough of a dopamine hit that it's even worth the effort of going and doing this, right? Like they want to go back and gamble and they can't.
Yep, you're correct. So yeah, it's very interesting.
So this is the thesis for ordinals. Like this is why I invested in ordinals, is because I understood that there are all these bizarre ancient whales, these ancient Bitcoin whales who just have basically billions of dollars of Bitcoin that they can't use. And if you give them something to use, they will speculate on it. They will buy it. This is the only thing that they have to do. It's not even like the only thing that they have to do in Bitcoin. It's like this is the only thing they have to do in their lives, right? They've been banned from everything because they were so early to this shit. They bought drugs, they got caught, they got arrested, they got swatted, and now all they have left is buying ordinals for $1 billion, right? And they will just keep buying because, you know, everyone talks about, oh, like, this much Bitcoin is burned. It's in, well, what do you mean burned? Well, it's not burned. It's just that it's in wallets that haven't been moved or used for the last 8 years. And it's like, those wallets are still owned. Sure, some of it is lost. Most of those wallets are still owned by people who have so much Bitcoin on other wallets, they simply don't give a fuck about moving it. And they know the effect that it would have on the market. Like if you have 50,000 Bitcoin in a wallet or something like that and you move it, people start freaking out. The market is going to shit the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. Those 50, because like 50K Bitcoin, even, I mean, 10 years ago wasn't shit, but like even like in 2012 wasn't unheard of, or not even 12, like 15. I knew people with like 10K Bitcoin in 2015, and that was kind of like casual. Like I know a couple guys in New York City now who had at least that much. And this is when it was like $1,000, right? Like,
yeah, I knew a guy who he didn't have that much, but he had almost 1,000.
Yeah, like,
and he has since lost basically all of it. This is the other really interesting thing about Bitcoin. People who haven't been super in crypto, or they just joined recently, they assume that everyone who's bought Bitcoin is in profit, or that most who have bought Bitcoin are in profit. Not so at all. The number of people, the number of wallets holding one Bitcoin has actually been decreasing like mad, basically ever since its inception.
I mean, yeah, the people who have a lot more, and everyone else has less.
Yeah, like basically the Gini coefficient has been up.
Yeah.
Or maybe down, actually. I forget which way the coefficient
But this is why we're back to, and I used to have multiple Bitcoin, and then I've lost it, so I'm one of these many. However, this is why we're back to the ordinals, because Bitcoin puppets are going to get me back. I'm going to be back. We're going to be back. I mean, at least several.
Sloves are going to get us back. Bitcoin sloves are going to get us back.
Sloves, SLOVE. I think on the low end, puppets are probably two Bitcoin at the end of this. That's my conservative estimate. I don't know what my non-conservative estimate is, but
It would be funny also if we just got front ran on the entire cycle by like BlackRock and like it's just down only ever since the halving. Like the halving really happens funny. And we just keep going down and it becomes clear that the market is over. That would be really funny.
I would be very impressed if they pulled that off. I don't think it's...
That would be like the ultimate rug. I would be down money, but I wouldn't be like fucked, which is kind of cool. Like if we actually went to zero right now, like I would be fine.
I would not be fine, but we vibe. we go on with our day.
I would be irritated, right? Like I would have been like, oh, I should have taken more profit, but it's like, no shit. You think that every time it goes down.
Yeah. Well, I would have taken less bets right before the halving, but so it goes. I think overall it'll be fine though. I mean, I think fundamentally it's just, this is like last time before the halving it went down. I feel like it always dumps before the halving. I think it's a matter of like people think that the market's been front run already. And then the reality of the difficulty increase hits. And
I will say that if there's anyone who's capable of front running the halving, it is going to be BlackRock instead of like whatever retards we were dealing with in 2020.
But what does it matter if they're front running it? Because like once the difficulty curve changes, like even if they have all the GPUs and shit, like what is the like you can't like, keep
I'm not a huge believer in the fact that it's the actual halving that causes the price increase. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. No, I think there has to be like a narrative or a media catalyst for stuff like this to take off. I don't literally think it's just that, oh, it gets harder to mine Bitcoin every 4 years, so the price of every single coin goes up.
I mean,
like,
that is how it usually, I mean, that is kind of how supply demand works.
But it's like, it's
demand's only increasing now. Yeah, I know, but demand's only, well, yes, it is Bitcoin, but it's the miners are, so if the demand of Bitcoin goes up, then it makes the price of Bitcoin goes up. Then that moves people to Ethereum or something, and then all that chain starts going up because of the demand, because people are moving off of Bitcoin, and then it just kind of like trickles down.
I just don't think it fundamentally increases the amount of demand in the world. Like I don't think that's what does it, you know? Because like by what mechanism does the Bitcoin miner fee increase the amount of people who want to buy cryptocurrency?
That part doesn't. I would say that like the amount of volume that people using crypto, especially when there's like shit like ordinals and stuff, the demand's already started, right? The inner circle of people, their demand increases. The halving, it makes it hard for them. They start moving to different chains. It makes the price go up. I mean,
this is the other thing.
That's when retail shows up.
If the halving was actually the direct catalyst, there would be some sort of like it would be directly around the halving instead of the price increasing or decreasing for like a couple weeks around the halving and then like doing whatever eventually. Like if the halving was actually explicitly through some sort of direct mechanism increasing the demand for Bitcoin, then when the halving went into effect, the price would start increasing. That doesn't necessarily happen.
Domino. I think the halving is the domino that starts the retail push.
I think the halving is kind of a narrative thing, and I think everyone kind of rallies around the halving, but I don't necessarily think that the halving mechanistically increases the price, especially now that we have so much of this other crypto ecosystem that is like not related to Bitcoin whatsoever. And like that sounds stupid, I guess, because every crypto is related to Bitcoin, right? It's all like if Bitcoin goes to zero, so does everything else. Yeah. But there's a lot of market cap that is not in Bitcoin. Right. Yes.
I think it's just a tipping point. I don't think it's like the direct cause of all the retail showing up.
I think it's a tipping point for sure. I think it's like a narrative inflection point. I just don't think that it's directly mechanistically causing it.
I mean, at that point, it's like tomato. But like,
I think there's a functional difference, right?
Yeah.
It's like saying that. It's like the difference between saying that allowing an additional 50% of the, like we make working legal for women or whatever. I don't know if it was ever actually illegal. Fuck me.
No, but like, yeah.
You double the supply of labor, and then that has a direct impact on the price of labor, right? Like it's a very observable, direct thing. Whereas with this, I don't think it's that easy to say that the halving is directly changing that. Which people will say, oh, well, it's changing the supply. If it's directly changing the supply, why doesn't it directly change the price when it happens?
I think it's because of the supply squeeze is a lagging indicator. The supply squeeze is lagging, right? Like if there's less volume and supply.
The answer likely is like some weird convoluted gray area combination.
I think it's kind of very similar to like quantitative easing, where like we know we're doing something, but we don't know exactly how, and then eventually there's an outcome like a year later. I think it's like that.
But how much of that outcome, even in the case of quantitative easing, is as a result of the process of quantitative easing versus like the weird narrative surrounding it?
Yeah,
written about by finance magazines.
Well, that's why I'm using it as an example. Like maybe it's like 10% or 20%.
Yeah,
but it's like,
I don't know. Like this isn't something that I like. I don't know what I'm talking about here. So anyone listening to me and thinking like, oh, like I don't think the halving directly mechanistically causes the Bitcoin price increase because Lucas said it on the podcast. You're gonna sound like a retard, probably. Like, there's a lot of people listening to this being like, Lucas, what the fuck are you saying? All of this is very easily explainable, and it probably is. I don't really know what I'm talking about here. It just seems to me that overall markets are driven very heavily by narratives, and the price does one thing, and then we come up with a narrative for it after. And there is some interplay between the price and the narrative, right? Like it's really hard to go chicken and egg on something like that. And that's why I'm hesitant to go chicken and egg on this one unique halving situation. Like, yes, I think the halving is going to make it go up. No, I don't know how. I do think that it's more heavily related to news articles about the halving than any sort of change to the Bitcoin network.
Yeah, you got to, it rallies the people. It gets the people moving. Absolutely. Yeah. It's absolutely it's not
especially
a
now we're getting to the point where like these cycles have been very repeatable, right? You know, like we had the 2013 one, the 2017 one, the 2021, now we're doing it again, and at some point investors start to say like, okay, it's done this goofy pattern enough times, I don't really understand why, but do I care? You know, like even my mom, like she was like, yeah, it seems like the Bitcoin cycle's happening again. And she was like, I was like, do you know about the halving? And she's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't give a fuck. And it's like, I'm not going to explain it to her because one, I don't know either. But two, it doesn't seem like it really matters, you know, like what difference does it make if it's the halving or if it's some like 4-year lunar event that goes on?
Literally, honestly, doesn't fucking matter. As long as the number goes up every couple of years, I'm happy. I can, and we survive on the interim. It's not, it's some kind of combination of the both, but it's probably more narrative. I think narrative, especially when you get to like higher movements, like the more like erratic vertical fucking movements of the market, that's absolutely narrative. I'm always kind of skeptical of like any direct calls when you have this much money moving. When it's smaller amounts of money, it's more obvious. But when you're moving into trillions of dollars, it's like, okay, it's not just XYZ thing.
Yeah. It's getting big enough. It is still big enough that it can be manipulated by like one guy to some extent, right? Like,
one entity. Like
Kobe could still dump us real good if he wanted to, I think.
Yeah. No, it's definitely not big enough. Like, it's like what? I don't know what the actual market caps are, but like 1.5 trillion. How much is Bitcoin market cap? I haven't looked at CoinGecko in years.
I'm gonna guess 2 trillion. No, it went down. I'm gonna guess 1.8 trillion.
Maybe. Let's see. I used to look at this religiously, by the way. It is 1.2 trillion. So that's actually kind of crazy.
I fucked up horribly.
You know what's crazy, actually? This is not a market cap that's about what it was at the end of last cycle. That makes sense. And then the next biggest one is 370 billion with Ethereum, which is actually not as much as I thought. Solana only has 60 billion on the chain. Oh, we have so much to go, bro. Fucking Doge was 128 billion last time.
Brother,
Doge by comparison to modern market cap would be the third biggest asset.
I am starting to get a little bit bearish on chains overall. Like, I'm starting to wonder if this isn't going to be like Sue had a thing that he said in the last podcast where he was talking about the concept of chain death.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No,
I'm starting to think we are going to see a lot of that, right? Because Ethereum already doesn't work. Solana now doesn't work either. And we can keep rotating from L2 shitter to L2 shitter, but the L2s are actually just an Excel spreadsheet kept on some guy's home server. So, like, I don't know, man.
What's going to be the chain that lasts?
Yeah, because and now like you're having the Solana guys starting to talk about how maybe we need an L2 for scaling, and it's like I've fucking heard this one before.
Yeah, right.
You know, how do we think this is gonna work?
I mean, I think
right?
almost all the chains are gonna die, and there's gonna be a better one. I don't know if I'm kind of
maybe I don't know. I am in a little bit of a weird situation because Ethereum has previously seemed like it was so safe it wasn't going anywhere, and I think it's probably still okay-ish kind of safe, but like I don't really know what the Ethereum pump thesis is anymore.
Yeah, it has a layer. I feel like is the L1 of Ethereum probably not going anywhere. It's probably going to be a dinosaur for a while. But there's so many chains built on top of it now. It's like it's only
right. Yeah, like if Ethereum actually goes to zero, the main benefit of Ethereum, as far as I know, is that it has the highest cost to attack the network out of basically any other chain. Like you would have to invest enormously more money in order to secure the amount of the network needed to perform a. It's not a. I don't think it's a 51% attack. I think it's something else.
I think staking is 33.
Yeah, so it would cost much more to perform a 33% attack on Ethereum than it would to perform a 51% attack on Bitcoin. And every other proof of work network. I'm learning that's actually the main downside to the proof of work networks is that the capital needed to scale the network doesn't scale with the market cap of the coin.
Oh, interesting.
Which is bad.
That's why they switched Ethereum to proof of stake.
There were a bunch of long and autistic reasons. I'm very unfamiliar with the.
Yeah, I used to care and read about that, but when I was writing that book, but it's been so many years, and now I just care about the bag, so I don't keep track of that anymore.
Yeah, nobody really cares. I
can explain to you ZK stuff in detail right now. That's where my autism last was used.
ZK stuff is a zero knowledge proof, and as far as I know, I've only read a few papers on it. They're basically all circuits, right? Like I have a decent amount of experience with electrical circuitry, you might say, and ZK circuits are literally just analogous to equivalents.
That's what I was writing documentation about.
Yeah, like you can literally reproduce them in Minecraft with redstone too if you want.
Oh, interesting. That's fun.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'd say fun, but it's interesting.
Well, yeah, interesting. That's
I would never do it. You'd have to fucking point a gun to my head.
No, you need autism on a level that is just unprecedented for that.
That was always like a really bizarre group of people to me. The guys who went into Minecraft and they started building like a computer in redstone, and it was like you do understand that we can simply purchase transistors, right? Like you can go and you can buy 1 bajillion transistors and a breadboard on some Chinese website for like 6 cents.
Yeah, no, they did it with the redstone.
Never made it, and it was like, I guess it's cool, but it's like, what's the like you know, like all the guys who built those like bizarre redstone projects for like YouTube or whatever. Yeah. And then you find one that has like 310 views, and you're like,
your life is meaningless.
You're like, what the fuck, dude? Like you unironically could have like solved quantum computing by like, I mean, maybe not quantum. You get what I'm saying though. Like you could have actually attacked industry with this level of autism, and instead it got pissed away on like making a big like Minecraft TV or something like that operates at brutal. Like 1/128th speed of a normal.
No, it's like that guy who figured out that PowerPoint is fucking Turing complete. And built a fucking like programming language in PowerPoint. You see that?
Yeah.
That's the same kind of autism.
There's a lot of these people who like, you realize that they kind of need to have their autism like focused, or else they just like they have effectively like an unlimited amount of energy. But if nobody focuses it towards something, it just gets radiated into the environment and it's lost forever. I think China is actually like a lot of the games and apps that they're designing are designed specifically to prevent that energy from being focused towards anything productive for the American economy.
No, it's actually wise that they do that. Like they limit brain drain things. Like even for like video games.
No. I'm saying China, like China. Create things that they capture like American minds, and they like ban those same things in China. It is very smart. But it's like, I think it sort of illustrates that these things are bad, right? Like
it's at the very least is wasted energy, like that could be harnessed.
It's a lot of wasted potential, and I'm not going to say that I haven't wasted my fair degree of potential.
I wasted my potential. I
certainly have, things. Man. But there are.
You should see my juggling. You know, it's just.
Yeah, there. I mean, there are a lot of like bizarre, hyper genius autists who have basically been like, you know, they're people who could have been like top 10 inventors in the human race's history, or the greatest Minecraft YouTuber.
Hey, listen, the bag though on the Minecraft YouTube is pretty fat.
It is, but if you're the type who's a top 10 inventor phenotype, you're not going to be actually making that much money on YouTube, because
that's true.
The ability to present, dictate, direct a narrative, this is all very different than the type of people who are like technically
building
creative
planets
geniuses.
And the guys who do like the 1-to-1 scale universes in Minecraft. It's like, what the fuck?
Like, it's a totally different mindset. It's the classic thing, you want to start something, you need a technical guy and you need an ideas guy. The ideas guy is the presenter, the salesperson, the talker. He's the one who does the raises. The technical guy is the one who answers questions from people who wear glasses that they push up on the bridge of their nose like anime characters.
Yes.
And he also like makes the product.
Yeah, he makes all the, he's the Wozniak. You need the Steve Jobs. And without the two, nothing will get off the ground. It's just a fact of life, unfortunately.
Yep.
Speaking of facts of life, my stomach's grumbling.
You gotta get some food.
I gotta get some food.
Nice. I think probably we can toss a lot of this on the Patreon. I don't think.
No, it was good. What are you talking about? You didn't like it?
I didn't think the first part was that good. I don't know.
Bro, we just we did the whole air chat thing. That's people like the new information. If anything,
the air chat shit is good, and I think we should talk about air chat more. I just feel like when we were doing the air chat stuff, I was trying to buy these NFTs and like fumbling around with
dude, I think it was interesting. Also, but not to mention, like, we've been doing crypto for so long that like having an episode on like a new tech platform, people might find interesting. I don't know, we can figure it out. I mean,
yeah, that's true. I mean, like, I do think that air chat is actually going to be like there's a reason that I'm fucking around on it, and it's not just because it allows me to feel like a god king among men.
Yeah.
It's because I've been talking to the founders a lot. I follow all of them. I've been chatting back and forth with them, and like, I think there's a lot of really good fucking product implementations. Because, okay, here, imagine this, brother. So you have a conversation with somebody in air chat, right? So it's like you have your voice message, then theirs, then yours. Now imagine you export this. Imagine you get to select 4 messages for export. And what the export process looks like is it takes the voice messages at whatever transcription speed you want, and it exports them, and it has a video that is your avatar with a little waveform behind it. Exact word that you're saying as you say it. And then it does that. And then you cut out the space between them. And then the next person goes and it shows their avatar with the waveform and the subtitles.
I see the vision.
Right. And you like this literally obsoletes like 4 different content production products, right?
Yes.
Like, it's insane. This basically allows podcasts to be pulled out of the air from nothing. And podcasts kind of get obsoleted because why are you going to listen to someone talk about something for 45 minutes when you can simply hear the best parts, which are rated by the community based on views or thumbs up or whatever other faggy metrics we're using? I guess we have to cut that out. I'm not allowed to say faggy. But it's just, that's an insane product because the subtitling alone, like, how much does our gay like AI subtitle thing? It's like $40 a month or some shit.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Which literally all it does is add in AI subtitles. And if you don't use like one of these AI apps, do you know what the alternative is? The alternative is like an Adobe Premiere plugin that costs like $60 a month or something, and it gives you more flexibility, but it's like it's Adobe, and now you're fucked in the ass because you've bought into the Adobe ecosystem, and you have to pay them $6 billion every month to use that, which means you have to pay your video editor. And then, by the way, you already like it reduces the video editing cost because it edits out the start and stop of the fucking voice message. So it's just like, it would be, and if you're only using the pictures and the waveform, the pictures of your avatar and the waveform, the video file itself will be very small because you can literally just render out somebody's picture and have like a repeating
image.
Yeah. So it's going to be a very compact video file. It's not going to use up a ton of data. You don't even necessarily need to keep these things on hand. You can hold them in like a cache store for like, I don't know, like 4 days or something.
Like the zip shit that we use. That's like 3 days and then deletes.
Yeah, and I mean, frankly, like the subscription model has failed, if we're going to be honest here, right? Like, there's not think about like who's subscribing to anyone on X?
No one. Absolutely zero people.
No one. Now, some people are buying Twitter Blue. That's a little better. But for something like this is something that I would pay like $100 a month for easy. And I imagine there's a lot of other people who would too, because it makes everything so easy. Like, I can't explain to you guys, if you've never done this, how gay it is to try and have to make an audio-only content podcast and make a visual clip that is engaging to people. Like, it's the intern figured out the process, but it's not an easy process. It's a very annoying process that takes a lot of time. And if you were to explain like how much time each clip takes to make, it's like, wow, that's you guys are gay, bro.
Yeah,
being able to just do this and export it like that is massive. So many people would pay for it. And the other thing is, outside of having it being like a subscription model that you could pay for, it actually allows you the biggest marketing funnel that's ever existed, because you can just fucking watermark every single one of these bitches.
Mm-hmm. No, that particular feature alone, if you can export the dialogues, is actually massive. I mean, that alone will pay for.
He's already built out everything you need. That's the crazy thing. Like, he already has the transcription. The transcription knows when you're saying it, because it's a requirement of the transcription. And he already has the voice notes. He already has the storage
just the exporting.
for that. Yeah, it's literally just tying it all together. Like, it's insane to me how genuinely close it is to being able to essentially take over the entire short form video ecosystem, because that's what it would do, right? Like, and then the entire short form video, like, these things are going to be reposted on Twitter, on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram Reels, on YouTube Shorts, and every one of these fuckers may just have an AirChat logo, an AirChat watermark in them in a very conspicuous way, right?
Oh no, that could blow. I mean, that will make the site on that alone will make the site just go to fucking infinity.
Well, and then you see in these clips, it's like, who is talking? Imagine you have like Elon Musk talking to some like 200 follower shit poster.
Yeah.
Who's like being very funny, but you're like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, that in and of itself is noteworthy. Having very big, like the thing that we did where I had Suzu talk to Bronze Age Shoddy, that drew attention just by virtue of the fact it's like, what the
random
fuck?
Shit talking to
Suzu is having like an in-depth interview with this random shit poster girl who got fired for making a joke about trans people.
Yeah.
Like that made people dig in on its own. So the entire website is basically like a massive virality filter. I'm referring to AirChat here. And it's just a matter, I think it's more than he wants. I don't think he actually wants to have to deal with the pain of scaling that much. I think he would prefer to have it be like a nice little thing, but
I think it was a pep project.
I'm going to push him hard because I fucking want this. Like, I want to just be able to export our conversations like this. It would be epic.
Yeah, he just accidentally struck gold. I think he was trying to make a little pet project for fun, where you just like talk to like replace Clubhouse. And
he's kind of left all other, like, he doesn't do. I asked him if he wanted to come on the pod with Sue, and he was like, "No, I'm doing AirChat now. Like, I'm all in AirChat. If you want to talk to me, you can talk to me on AirChat. I'm not gonna like."
Oh, that's good then. Yeah, then maybe.
Yeah, I was like, holy fuck! Like, again, he's doing everything so right, man.
He's fucking down, dude. He knows what's up.
I so rarely have nothing to criticize about a founder, and I'm sure if I talked forever, I would find something. It's like, but it's like it would be a very minor thing at this point.
Yeah, no, I think it's I mean, hey, once we get off this and I get some food in me, I'm gonna fucking hop back in the trenches.
Get on the AirChat trenches. Yeah, that's the other thing. Is like, we have our Discord server, but it's like functionally, you guys
I can't be on Discord. I'm too old for that.
Right? It's just too much shit, bro. You want to talk to me? Come to fucking talk to me on AirChat. That's way better. Let me know who you are. I'm getting tired of everybody say like, dude, like, why aren't you following me back? Like, we're mutuals, and then they have like some completely random name that's not the name of any of my mutuals, and a profile picture that's not the one they used on Twitter. They're like, why don't you know who I am magically, Lucas? And it's like, well, because I'm like retarded, first of all, but I'm like especially bad at names. But third of all, like, your two names are totally unrelated. Like, one of yours is like Sasquatch King and the other one is like Alex Franco. Like, how am I supposed to tie these two handles to each other? Why would I ever suspect that Alex Jones or Alex Franco is Sasquatch King?
The one that people who don't have continuity across accounts, that also that drives me nuts.
Right, and it's like a totally different medium. They're like, "Oh, you don't recognize me?" No, I don't recognize you. It's your voice now.
Oh my god!
And most people, like, I uniquely am one of the few people who talks very much so like they type. So it's very easy to recognize me across both mediums. Most people do not. Most people have massively disparate styles.
That's very true. Yeah, no, that's. I can't. My brain's gone. I don't know what the fuck I was gonna say. I need calories. We got to call this. I need food. I'm hungry.
Okay, brother. It's good. We have one in the chamber now, or some shit like that. I want to get Sai Swoon
maybe
on.
2 in the chamber at this rate. They're both 50 minutes. Oh, well, it depends on how we feel about the episode. We could always just put extra episode on Patreon. They love that.
Yeah, Sai Swoon's a good one. I think getting Y Pump on might be fun. It might also be fun to just have like some of the funny interactions that we have on Air Chat and just post them on the podcast account. I want to figure out what the best way to export that shit is. I think the best way to get the audio is probably just going to be screen record it.
I think a screen recorder could probably work just because it plays automatically when you go down. So I could just literally just play a screen recorder of it and not do any editing.
Yeah, I mean, it does go down. I would like to find a way to take the spaces out. You know, it's the millennial pause thing. I don't like it being built in, and it's built in on both ends because people very infrequently are like perfect about hitting the end mic. This is actually one of the few complaints I have about the UI is it should be a lot easier to cancel the message. The fact that you only have one place on the app to cancel sending is very bad, and I feel leads to a lot of missends, which can be very awkward.
Oh,
that's something that with voice messages you extremely want to ignore. You want to make it very obvious when you are or are not sending the message. Yeah, and it's very obvious on like Telegram, on Facebook Messenger, on every other voice messenger I've seen, really, but it's not so on Air Chat. And so I've seen a lot of people sending like half messages and shit like that, and they probably don't even know they sent them.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, sorry. I gotta go. I can't do it. I need to eat something.
Okay. Godspeed, bro. Good luck.
Good luck.
When he gets older, he won't sound like this anymore, right?